had some requests for this room. Mola Mola, Bruno Putsky pedigree. Kind of the inventor of the Class D.
You haven't got anything? Oh, right. Actually, I didn't realise you were that sure. So were you not able to take any out of that last shipment? Yeah. Most.
It's a cool song. I love this song. This is another good song. So this guy's got good taste. That's the new Cronus turntable. Good music taste. I know that's a Doug favorite tune. You'd also like the Feelies if you like that.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the...
Let's listen to this presentation.
Second coming of Vivid Audio Moya M1. I'm very proud to be part of the team. And actually this is the moment that we are all here. So when you just look behind you, you see Phil Gutentag. There, the man looking quite uncomfortable when I Next to him is our miracle man Willem. Then we have John, the factory leader. His son Michael, who makes all the exploded views and then does a great job. Look on the left. Then we have you, our viewers. We have Grace Abaco, one of our engineers. And who are you?
I'll check my passport.
You check your passport. Oh, and last but not least, our social media manager, Kim Verkeer. 2 months ago we launched Moya M1 on a beautiful day in Guangzhou, China. And ever since the world, our little niche, has been talking about Moya M1. I want to start off with the music that launched it that day. And of course, Mr. Lawrence Dickey will present how Moya M1 came.
Thank you very much, Egbert.
Thank you.
And the thing I must never forget is to thank Lewis for the Kronos front end and for the preamp, Joe for the cables, and Frank for these excellent amplifiers. Okay, so why Moya? Did we really need a bigger loudspeaker? We had G1 Spirit, which is already a pretty big speaker. And we're really proud of the fidelity, the transparency of the sound that we get from G1S. Wasn't there enough bass already? Nevertheless, there was a desire from inside and a little bit of pressure from outside to produce a new Vivid Audio speaker, something above G1S. Well, the only way is bigger. But making a bigger speaker has its own challenges. Making a bigger speaker where everything gels together seamlessly does have some unusual challenges. I hope that by the end of today, you'll agree that in Moya M1 we have circumvented those challenges and produced a really large-scale loudspeaker which can really take you to the live vibe of a concert hall or the power and energy of a live rock gig. The next track, in a way, builds on the menace of Night on a Bare Mountain, but it brings it into the 20th century. Well, actually, Night on a Bare Mountain probably was already 20th century. The most obvious feature of Moya, I don't know who keeps turning the lights away, is this stack of 8 bass drivers. I mean, really? 8? Does it really need that many bass drivers? It is based on sound technology. It's based on the maximum excursion required to achieve a certain sound level and the crossover frequencies that we choose between the drivers. So for instance, let's start at the D50 where it has an excursion of about 1 millimeter. And to produce 120 dB, I mean that's an arbitrary figure, but we chose 120 dB, let's aim for that. It's pretty loud. To achieve 120 dB with 1 millimeter excursion, you can go down to 1.7 kilohertz. By the same token, with this 100 millimeter driver, the C100, to achieve 120 dB, its excursion is a couple of millimeters. So 120 dB, that takes you down to about 550 hertz. Similarly, at the bottom of these two, with a travel of 4 millimeters, 120 dB, that gives you a crossover frequency of 130 hertz. So to produce 120 decibels at the frequency at which the excursion of these bass drivers is at a peak, and that excursion is about 12.5 millimeters, you need 8. And that's it. It's a simple equation. It happens that 8 kind of looks neat, and it gives an ample height on which to base the mid and high. I hope you'll agree that the effortlessness of the bottom end that we gain with all these drivers justifies having them all in this model. Right, the next track, Kendrick Lamar, has a stonking bass note at about the point where these drivers hit their maximum excursion, but we'll probably play it quite loud, and they're still hardly moving. Take it away.
I hope.
Crank it.
I said I'm geek and I'm fired up. All I want tonight is just get higher. Girl, you look so good, it's to die for. Ooh, that pussy good, it's to die for. It's a secret society. All we ask is try. All we got is time. Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. Kung Fu Kenny now. My resume is real enough for 2 millenniums. A better way to make a waves, not defending them. I meditate and moderate all of my wins again. I'm hanging on the fence again. I'm always on your mind. I put my lyric and my lifeline on the line. Ain't no limit when I might shine, might grind. You rolling with it at the right time, right now. Only for the dollar sign. Bad girl, leave it now. Swerve, 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 leave it now. On your pulse like a CDM. Gas in the bitch like it's premium. Hard laughs in the bitch, on the fast lane. Been a bad bitch, looking for in the cash game. I'm established, on the Paris. I'm my name, on the Atlas. I'm a natural, I'm a savage, I'm an asshole, I'm a king. Shimmy out, shimmy out, shimmy out, right. You can tell your nigga he can meet me outside. You can maybe sit on when I leave him outside. Ain't no other love like the one I know. I done been down so long, lost hope. I done came down so hard, I slow. I done sleep forever, all a real nigga want. I said I'm geek and I'm fired up.
Yeah, stonking bottom end on that. And they're moving about 2 millimeters, so you can imagine cranking it up to 12, it would definitely shake in the room. Okay, look, I'm a fairly intuitive engineer. I do try to base my work on sound theory. I do try to understand the maths, but I'll be frank, there are times when really I take a stab at it. We understand the importance of engineering in this game. Some people think we're a design-led company. Not at all. We're an engineering-led company. And as such, understanding better exactly why we do what we do is fundamental. So We were joined a couple of years ago by Grecia Bacco here, and her speciality is modelling things on computer using finite element analysis. And in so doing, she can see how something is behaving and improve that performance. So Grecia will now, hang on, haven't I got a little bit of,
Yeah, you have.
I've missed out a section. Embarrassment. Okay. So, in fact, it does play into it because, as I say, it's stuff based on wet fingers rather than rigorous engineering. Inspiration, really. So I'll start with the... okay, this was a little thing I came up with about 30 odd years ago. It's an exponential absorber. And the idea is that it absorbs the sound from the back of the speaker. Now, we have these lovely curved surfaces to minimize the diffraction from the drivers. The sound as it comes out of the drivers, if it hits a sharp edge, it gets re-radiated and that interferes with the original sound. We know about that. All vivid audio speakers have that lovely curved appearance for that reason. But it's actually just as important that the sound at the back of the diaphragm is dealt with properly, because that sound, if it's channeled into a reverberant resonant environment, the resonances and the reverberation will come back through the diaphragm. So it's very important that we absorb the sound from the back of the diaphragm. Now this device, this exponential absorber, does the job really well. And I'll demonstrate it by first talking into this tube, and I hope you can hear the resonances as the sound bounces between the ends of the tube. And when I cover one end, the resonances carry on, albeit an octave lower, but they're still there. If I now put the absorber tube on, you'll hear that the resonances completely disappear. This simple device really works. It's a very tolerant technology. You can, it doesn't matter whether it's that long or that long, it just works. We have one of these on the back of each of our drivers, even the low mids where the exponential tube actually is channeled up the sides on the inside. The one where in the past, in our first products, the B1 and the K1, we were unable to deal with resonance in the low frequency section because a bass reflex cabinet has to have the air inside the cabinet acts like a spring, and if you absorb or put too much absorber in it, it damages or reduces the output at the port. So the question was, how could we combine the exponential absorber with bass reflex? Well, it turns out you can do so. I've got this little demo here where this spherical chamber mimics the volume of air inside the cabinet, and this hole here mimics the port. And if I blow into it, it's based on a recorder. If I blow into it, I'll block the end up so that it's just like a conventional cabinet. You'll hear the port resonance, but you'll also hear some overtones. That's the port. If I blow hard, you hear those resonances, and that's the sound bouncing around inside the sphere, which would happen ordinarily in a loudspeaker cabinet. If we stick this on, you've still got the port, but those sharp resonances have completely disappeared because they're absorbed by this. That technology was developed for and introduced into gear first, back in the noughties, and it's still here. Whereas in gear it was this very obvious, ostentatious, curly bit on the top. In Moya, we've concealed it at the back of each individual bass chamber, so it's a re-entrant horn sitting right at the back, but it's still doing its job and still working just as well. Is that the point at which I hand over to you?
Yeah.
Right, my apologies for that. So, Grecia Bacco, our numerical methods specialist.
Well, thank you very much.
I've missed out.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this Moya launch, and thanks for the very kind and 10 introductions that I've had so far. As Dick said, I'm part of the R&D team at Vivid Audio, but my real job is trying to model every crazy idea Dick comes up with every morning. I'm here to build up on what he has said about Moya and delve deeper into the engineering excellence behind Moya and indeed behind every Vivid speaker. Often we're asked how we voice our loudspeakers, and the answer is simple: because we just don't. So at Vivid, we believe that our drivers should move pistonically throughout their frequency range, and that's the only way we can really deliver an uncolored and pure sound, just like the artists have intended. The way we do this is integrate many different approaches on many different levels, starting from the shape of our drivers, cones and domes, and we are big proponents of catenary domes, which really push up that first breakup mode. Yeah, that's the catenary. That's fine. That's like that. Yeah, that's the catenary curve. And then of course the materials. So for instance, Moya will include a diamond-like coating with our traditional aluminum diaphragms. Other drivers like the C100 will have a carbon fiber ring that really works wonders in pushing up that first breakup mode. So I'd like to play you a track where you can really listen that uncolored and pure sound coming from our mid-range drivers. Breakup modes are not the only criterion we use to decide which frequency range our drivers should operate in. In fact, another consideration is, even though our drivers move pistonically throughout their frequency range of interest, they will start beaming at higher frequencies. So you will have a narrower auditory scene, but we don't want that. We want a wide, natural auditory scene. And that's when crossover design and optimization comes into play. So at higher frequencies, we do so that our drivers work well below that beaming frequency. And at lower frequencies, we want to have that specific amount of dBs at that specific frequency. So I'd like to play you a track now that will deliver that wide auditory scene, natural soundscape. that the sound that comes to our ears is pure, right? But we mustn't forget that the heart of a loudspeaker is its magnets, right? The motor. And magnet design is what makes or breaks a loudspeaker. Speaking of low frequency magnets, what we really want is the longest possible linear coil travel. And that's why at Vivid we use long magnets with short coils. And I'd like to make you listen to a track now where you can really see those drivers move and you can really hear how pure that bass is. Right?
Almost there. And again, it's loose. System fails again. Yeah. It's really weird.
Is this where I'm supposed to sing?
Maybe you can take stage.
Take it away.
Take it away.
You don't sound baritone. Can you sing?
You have
Low enough to
stage.
demonstrate? Yeah.
I just
Do you want us to reboot the Rune server?
no probably do this one.
Yeah, hang on. What about? Yeah, go on. Jack, hey. Yeah, play an organ record. Philip.
Yes.
Yeah, let Jake stick one of his trouser flapping.
Maybe we should just do that.
Yeah, well.
We should quit the room. It's now 3 times in a row.
Just the
Yeah, just crank it up.